wanted to talk to you about something a little bit personal today. Some people might say that I have a pot problem. Now, I don't know how you feel about this. I think that at least here in America, we live in a free country. I think that we should be able to enjoy the things that we enjoy as long as we're not harming other people or infringing on other people's rights. And this happens to be one thing that I enjoy. I collect pots. Yes, I have a pot problem. I admit it. Although I'm not so sure that it's a problem. I purchased these pots over time. They had plants in them from nurseries and so on, but I always keep them because the pot is still good. A lot of people throw them away. Even the really thin, kind of flimsy ones, you can still use them for propagation experiments, or if you need to do some transplanting and you want to pot it up because you're not quite ready to move it to its new place. Sometimes you just got to dig a plant up and you need somewhere to put it. The best place to put it is in a pot. It doesn't have to be super fancy, it doesn't have to be some nice ceramic pot. It just has to be something that can hold soil, that you can water it. It's not just going to fall apart and rot, because you don't know how long it's going to take for you to prepare your next garden area, your next location. And a nice nursery pot it's just an easy way to move those plants without having to worry as much about what's going to happen to those roots. This particular plant right here, for example, is actually, it's hard to tell just from looking at it, but this particular plant was an apple plant. I planted it from a seed, and we're going to see what happens to it. Now, I'm not expecting to get large juicy apples from this tree. Maybe it turns out to be a crabapple tree, you never know. But it cost me nothing. I already had the apple, I ate it. It was quite delicious. So I took the seed and I put it into some soil. The soil cost me nothing because I'm composting all of my organics, and so this entire pot was filled with what was effectively going to be trash. The pot itself, again, was free because I had already bought a plant that I had placed into the landscape of the house. And I went ahead, kept the pot, filled it with free soil, planted a free seed, and now I have an apple tree. Some people say that's a problem. I think that's a solution. The funny thing is, people look down on planting and germinating apple seeds. I don't know why. They'll say things like, oh, that thing's going to taste terrible, or you'll never get fruit out of it, or it's never going to taste like the apple you ate. So, what if it tastes better? What if the fruit's bigger, juicier, sweeter? Maybe it's smaller, but it's sweet. Who knows? Who knows what's going to come out of this? Maybe it's garbage, but even if it is a garbage apple tree, guess what? It's still an apple tree. I can use the apples to feed animals, or even if it's the wildlife. It's still food. So try not to look down on people who are experimenting, right? Think of it as a positive, not as a negative. Yes, you can try propagating plants that you like, varieties of plants, which I do a lot of propagation. Maybe I'll show you some before this video is over, but if you want to plant peach seeds or apple seeds or whatever, even if it's not going to be true to type, go for it. Have fun with it. Just be sure to save your pots. They come in handy in times like this. Alright, let me show you some cool stuff. Do you have a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket from Menards or Lowe's or wherever, Home Depot, that maybe it's kind of past its time and you're thinking about throwing it away? Guess what? That's a pot. Now, there's a couple things you might have to do to turn it into a pot. You might have to drill a few holes down at the bottom, and if it's got a little crack or something there, that's not going to hurt anything. You fill this puppy up with soil, and this is a good tree pot right here. It's got nice vertical space for long tap roots or anything of that kind. Actually, I'm going to show you a plant that was pretty small that started in this very pot, I'll call it, and we'll see what it looks like now. It was a small plant that I actually picked up at one of the local fairs here. I believe Arbor Day Foundation was in the area, and they were giving out free plants. And so, you know, it was only maybe 12 inches in size, and that was about 2 years ago. And for a good solid year, I kept it right in this bucket slash pot. For example, these here are just forsythias that I've been propagating. All of these here. This guy, I'm not sure. I think this is a lemon. And see, that's part of the fun too. Sometimes you'll put some seeds down, you don't know what comes up, and it's just a fun little experiment. I'm pretty sure this is a lemon tree. Why don't you guys leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. What do you guys think? You think that's a lemon tree? I'm gonna go with that. I even like to keep these really big, I don't know what this is, 5 gallon? And you see I have even smaller ones inside of it, and I have bags of random mulch or some potting mix or whatever I have in here. The larger containers from when you purchase trees, more adult trees, they work great as just little carrying totes. I can also use this to transplant a larger tree if I really needed to, but it just works. It works really good to have containers inside of containers. And I mean, look at all of this. Now keep in mind, I didn't buy all of these for this property. If I'm being honest with you, I've been collecting pots for years, maybe decades. And as long as you take care of them, they continue to last. I haven't used these guys yet. They're still waiting for trees to get bigger, and I just moved them from a smaller pot as starters or seedlings to slightly larger pots, and I just keep going up and up and up, and I have pots of every size that I never have to go out and purchase. So save your pots, guys. It really does help, and it saves you money. So really that's it, guys. I just wanted to drop this video and let you know that there's opportunity there. There's opportunity to grow plants, propagate plants. Sorry it's a little bit windy, but but we're just going to keep rolling. To do all of this stuff at a very low cost, almost free, especially if you are purchasing from time to time certain varieties of plants that maybe you don't have access to but some nursery does. Keep the pots, and you can use those pots to either propagate more or to plant seeds or do whatever you want. Just experiment out there in the garden. Have a good time, have fun with it, and just know that it's going to take time. Anything you put into a plant is probably going to be there for just a little bit of time, maybe one season, and then you can plant it out into your garden. But whatever use you have for that pot, know that it does have a use. And that's all. As always, you guys be good, and I'll see you on the next one. I do not have a problem. You're still here? Go.